Good evening everyone. Tonight's special, Halloween special, is going to be what are they hiding in their closet, or what are they hiding from you, or are they in the closet, whichever one you want to choose. You've got three piles as usual. You've got the, I don't know what that is, hairy bat in a hairy jumper. You've got the bat lady, or you've got the Wheel of Fortune here, which is like a pig head. So whichever one you want, 1, 2 or 3. If you want to make your choice, we'll get going.
La música de Harry Fraud.
Okay, right then, pile number 1. What is your person hiding? What skeleton has he got or she got in their closet? I think your person probably comes across as somebody who's quite stable, somebody who's probably quite nurturing, but somebody who has a little bit of a wild side. I think that you can smell or you can sniff the fact that they are probably quite paternal or maternal. They're probably very good at looking after people. And they're probably very caring. They're the type of person that makes you a cup of tea when you're crying. But they've also got this other side to them which I think can switch into not being like to be tied down. It's a strange combination of being homely but not being wanting to be tied to the home. And I think that's the way that they come across. You can probably smell that already. Somebody who's a free spirit but likes children, probably likes to be at home, is quite close to their family. That's what I'm picking up. Now, what they're actually hiding, from what I can see here, and I'll explain the cards as I go through them, but right from the very beginning, I think your person, hold on, let me just say, I think your person comes across as somebody who's very much liked by a lot of people. They're probably quite adventurous, they're probably quite forthright, but fun to be with. I think they come across as being very at ease with themselves and very happy with themselves. But what I think your person is hiding, behind the exterior of being stable but a wild girl or a wild boy, is the fact that they are actually more of a home bird and more in need of family than they would like to admit to. There's 2 things I get from this pile that your person might be hiding. The first one, I think that they're quite either spiritual or religious. And I don't mean the fact that you might not catch them going to church or reading the Bible or praying or looking at New Age books, but I think that the way they live their life, because they've got the Jupiter card for subconscious down here, and then you've got the High Priestess here, and you've also got the Hierophant. So I think that your person looks at life from a bigger perspective. They may not tell you this, they may just like to look like they know the answers to everything. It might be the type of person who comes across as very wise, but you're not really sure where they're getting the information from. And I don't know whether they admit that to themselves either, whether they admit that morals or the bigger picture is important to them and how they choose things and how they choose people in their life and decisions in their life. And I think that what they get from that is the whole feeling of being very connected and very much in the moment, and the type of person I'm guessing that you would like to have at a party because they're exciting and because they're at ease with themselves and they can laugh and they can joke, and I think they're quite fun to be with. That's what I'm picking up at the moment. But the most significant thing I thought when I got the cards out was that your person has a real strong need to have a family and children, male or female. There's a softness behind this person that I think that they keep under wraps. I think you can get glimpses of it, but I think there's also a little bit of a joker girl, joker boy about this person, that they like to hide how soft they really are and how much they really do need to have some stability in their life and that feeling of an established family. It's almost like I think they struggle with this. I think they struggle with the need for the white picket fence life, and then they've got Uranus over here, so they may like to travel, they may like to be very different, very avant-garde, very sort of maverick, and like to come across as that. But I think deep down, your person really wants to settle down, but will always struggle with that. There's a mixture here of wildness, travelling, fun, with softness and a need for family. Right, let's go through the cards bit by bit just to tell you where I've got that from. At the very beginning, the cross, which basically sums it all up, you've got the 10 of Pentacles and then you've got the 10 of Cups. So to me, that's attainment, and it's material attainment and emotional attainment. And this person's subconscious is coming from the Wheel of Fortune. So with Jupiter at the bottom, this person uses their higher mind in order to get where they want to get, and they want to have the whole, they want to have everything. They want to have material comfort, and they also want to have the family around them. And then for hopes and fears and for what's behind them, they've got the Hierophant and the High Priestess, and that's given me that feeling that there's some religious or spiritual background to this person's thoughts and feelings and what they aim for in life. There's not a really strong, there's not a material bend to this, although they've got the Pentacles here. I'm thinking with these two cards behind that this person's aimed almost, I'm going to say Sagittarius, which is the same as Jupiter, but it's that sort of wanting to use their best qualities so that when they are on, this sounds really awful, but it's Halloween, on their deathbed, they will look back and they will say, you know, I did the best I could with every situation that came into my life, which is very sort of Jupiter. And consciously at the top here, they've got the 9 of Cups. So at the moment, they feel like the person that's got everything anyway. They feel that they're happy in themselves and that everything they've got around them is just spot on. And then you've got here the Knight of Wands. I don't know if you can see these cards or not. It's somebody who's feisty and fiery and uses all those things we've talked about in their life to move forward. Now, you've also got the Death card here and you've got the Sun card here. So these two cards and the position that they're in make me just, it compounds the feeling that I have that this person lives life from a higher perspective. They've got the 9 of Cups, they've got the Sun. I mean, they probably come across as fun and childlike and the type of person you want to go on holiday with, because every day they jump out of bed and they want to get things started. It's just the type of person you want to spend every moment with. And the 4 of Wands here makes me think that they're quite nurturing with it, but they've got a wild side with Uranus. They've got that side that likes to shock. They've got that side that likes to do the unexpected. They'll do something, you'll think you'll know what they're going to do, and you'll go out with them and they'll do something totally unexpected, but it will be different and it will be fun and it will make you laugh. This person is a real, I say party girl or party boy. Okay, right, and the end result is the 2 of Pentacles, and this has got kids on it and they're playing, and they've also got the world and everything summed up, and the end. And on top of that, you've got the 2 of Wands as well. I think your person's ultimate aim is to have children and family, and that's really important to them. But I wonder whether you can sense it in the nature, because they're probably very kind and very sort of giving and nurturing. I was going to say grounded then, but I'm not actually getting that at all. And I also think they're softer than they like to come across. I think you can sense it, because the way that they are and the way that what they're hiding isn't that much different, to be honest, with this person. Right then, so to sum up pile number 1, what is your person hiding? What skeleton has he or she got in their closet? Number 1, I think they're very philosophical. I think that they live their life from a big perspective. So when they're coming across with something that splurts out of their mouth that sounds really wise, it's the way that they think anyway. I think they're hiding as well. There's 3 things I think they're hiding. The second one is I think that they are softer and more sensitive than they like to appear. They appear fun and at ease with themselves, and as if they just feel happy with themselves. And the third thing that they're hiding is a really strong need for family and for stability. And for that to feel materially stable, not materialistic, but materially stable, to feel happy with, they've got this, I think they've got a bigger picture of wanting to have a family at the end, and that's what they want. That's just what they want. Their aim in life is to have that established family feel with the house, with the kids, and it to be what they would term as quite conventional and traditional, and I think that's what they hide from. I think they hide from the fact that they have to admit that they want something that's conventional and traditional, because the softness in them wants that, but they are not actually conventional or traditional. Okay, that's it. I think your person comes across as being really sweet, really fun, really open, really feisty, really caring, really edgy in some ways, but they're hiding their softness, and they don't want you to know how conventional they really are. I wonder if they played with religion or spirituality in some way, and they might still be playing with it and not want to admit which path they want to go down. I think they fight with convention and traditional and being a little bit of a wild boy or girl. That's what they're hiding from you. That's what they're hiding, that fight that they have inside themselves. Right, pile number 1. I don't know if that actually rings true in any way, but that's quite a sweet pile. And whatever they're hiding is actually quite sweet anyway. It's just something I think they feel is not cool to let everybody know, that they really just want to settle down and be content. Don't we all? Not settle down, but be content. Okay, pile number 1. Thank you very much for listening, and happy Halloween. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. Right, I think, as I'm putting this pile out, I think your person comes across not like pile number 1. I think your person comes across quite different to what they're actually hiding. Pile number 1 wasn't much difference. I think your person may be somebody who you may perceive as working hard or having some sort of responsibility, or that they may have some sort of responsibility in the way that they carry themselves in work, or just the way that they just carry themselves. With Saturn here is making me think of somebody who works hard or can be quite serious, or may have, when they're younger, seemed a little bit older than they actually were. They may be the type of person who doesn't like to be caught laughing. My dad was Capricorn, and we used to try our best through most when we were kids to make him laugh, because he would try and turn his mouth down, so you would just do anything to try and make him laugh. He had a dry sense of humour, so your person might have a dry sense of humour. But the type of person who feels to me like they are always on the edge or trying to prepare for something that's about to happen. It's as if they got the sense, it's quite a stoic pile. This is the way your person comes across. How they actually are always quite different. I think your person comes across as being responsible and hardworking, and always as if there's a slight fear of something being taken away from them. They might work really hard in work in case their position is taken away from them. They might work for their family in case they run out of money. That type of feeling of always being on edge as if they have to work hard. It's a real earthy feeling of having to provide for themselves. They might be quite underconfident in some ways. With Saturn there, some people just feel that they're never quite good enough. Or they could just be the oldest child in a family who feels that they're responsible for their younger siblings in some way, or they have to lead the way. That's the feeling I'm getting. There's lots of different scenarios, but it's somebody who takes responsibility, works hard, and is always looking behind their shoulder to see how not to get caught out. I think work and finances, or their work position, or you may know them through work, but that's important to them. think they might either be really hardworking or quite, there's a fear of materialistic things I'm picking up from this. There's a fear, I don't know if this is from being young, of having no money, or they may have, this isn't what they're hiding, I think this is what they're actually like. Well, I haven't got to what they're hiding. I think you may have sniffed that they need to feel financially stable. They may tie themselves into positions that other people wouldn't. They might tie themselves down to jobs where they've got signed in for 5 years, or I'm making this up, or a mortgage, or just something, a marriage that they're not happy in. It's just that feeling of needing to do the right thing and almost sacrificing their freedom. There may be 3 people involved in their work situations or in their job, or just something that they feel they've tied themselves down with, and it's almost like a wall behind them of that they feel they need to break through, that they're not going to be able to get through without causing complete mayhem. So this is actually quite different than what I expected. So this is the type of thing that they're supposed to be hiding, but this is coming across as their personality. Somebody who's hardworking, somebody who binds themselves to things materialistic they don't really want to, or perhaps finds material things more important than they'd like to admit. But this is combined with something else, which is probably what they are hiding. And I think your person is quite wound themselves up into everyday situations where they feel that they need to provide, and they feel that they need to be predictable and there for everybody else. But I think deep down what they're hiding is, I think they're actually almost psychic and spiritual, but hiding it because I think they have a creative side that they haven't really let flourish yet. If your person has a creative edge to them, if they work in the creative industry in any way, that is going to let that loose in a way. But I think there's more to it than that. I think your person is hiding the fact that they fantasize and they overthink and they dream a lot. But I think they almost have a spiritual link to it, that they're actually dreaming or fantasizing about things which aren't really in everybody's immediate grasp, if you know what I mean. They can see below things and have a sort of intuition that not many people have, but I think that probably is hidden to most people. It's getting so dark in here, but because it's Halloween, I am convinced that I am going to read these by candlelight. Oh, hold on. Okay. I think your person is providing. I think they give really well, but I think they often need time to themselves as well. Let me see. Hold on. I have to read these, but I really am going. I'm not going to turn the light on. Okay, got this. Your person likes to be seen as a provider. They like to be seen as if they have control. And I think what is slightly out of their control is their intuition and their fantasies and their mental life. I think your person has an awareness that isn't accepted in the way that they've grown up. If they've grown up in some sort of liberal household where they have Ouija boards every weekend, that's fine. But I wonder whether they have. It makes me think your person's grown up in a very normal, respectable, responsible household, where everything is seen on the surface as being fine, and the kids grow up and then they go off and they have 2 point so many children. And I wonder whether your person has something underneath them that they haven't really spoken about with many people. I think they come across as being very kind and very giving and quite mature emotionally, but I wonder whether I'm picking up that they spend time on their own and they like to delve into thoughts and fantasies, maybe in films, and I don't think they let many people know this because I think they like to come across as being very stoic. And I think they also dream about being a little bit wilder than they actually are. They may dream of travelling. They may dream of being more passionate. They may dream of being more fun and adventurous and exciting. So if your person is quite traditional or just lives life very much under the radar, I think that what's in their closet and what they're hiding is the fact that they have that little edge of them that's a little bit more bohemian than they appear and a little bit more wilder than they appear. They've almost built a wall around them not to show this. And I don't know how well you know them. If you know them quite well, you may have glimpsed this. But otherwise, I think they come across as the provider. They come across as the loving provider who's there for people, who gives people they gives people things when they need them, and is very sort of intellectual and fair and honest. But I think deep down, your person is scared to break through that wall of declaring, that's a strong one, that they fantasize a lot and they overthink and they have a real spiritual bend. And it wouldn't surprise me whether this person has had some psychic experiences in their life. They can see the pattern in life, I think. They know what's coming. It's almost as if they wait for it, but they wouldn't tell you that because they're too busy looking normal. This strikes me, the skeleton in their closet strikes me as something that they need somebody else to bring it out of them. Right, I'm going to finish there, pile number 2, because I can't read these cards because it's getting really dark, but I refuse to give up. So your person hides their fantasy life, they hide the fact that they're very intuitive, they hide the fact that they can probably read patterns very well behind an exterior of being extremely normal and extremely caring and giving to other people. But I think there's a side to them that might delve into fantasies and overthinking and perhaps quite spiritual in some way, quite psychic in some way. Okay, right. Thank you, pile number 2. I hope that Halloween reading makes some sense to you. So next time you're with this person, get the Ouija board out and see. They'll probably actually run a mile. They probably would run a mile. No, don't get Ouija board out. That is not very sensible of me. I wouldn't do that. Right, okay. Thank you very much for listening and have a nice Halloween. Bye. Okay, hi there, pile number 3. Right, let's have a look at your person. What is the skeleton in their closet? Right, I think that I think they're quite balanced. I think that they're not the type of person who thinks you always know what's going to happen with them. They're not the type of person who you don't know what to expect next time that you get together. They're probably quite constant and probably quite easygoing, quite fun to be with, and probably just good fun. Right, now, what they're hiding is their need for control and I think they're hiding a need for control, and I think it very much comes into play with relationships. If the person you're asking about is a man, this particularly applies. It's the type of person who almost feels like they would feel out of control if a woman was too strong with them. And I'm not making this up out of my own pea brain, but you've got Lilith and you've got Emperor here. So to me, those two, Lilith is the type of energy of, in a man, it's the energy of almost letting the woman play out their shadow side and then them pulling them up for it, constantly saying, you can't do that because, when it's actually the dark bits in themselves that the woman's playing out. Does that make sense? Not very, I didn't say that very well. If it's a woman that you're asking about, this woman almost would come across as quite fierce and quite independent. I'm thinking the type of woman who's very much women's rights and comes across possibly a little bit threatening to other women. Yeah. Okay, so what this person's hiding is I think they come across as being very altruistic is the word I was thinking, but I don't even know what that means. Altruistic. Very giving, very kind, very balanced, very open, very jolly, very fun, but I think they have something inside them that doesn't like to be overpowered if they are male. If they're female, they've just got something inside them that is very strong, that feels the need to not be overpowered, so they come across even more sort of like that. Right, let's go a little bit deeper, dig a bit deeper. I have a feeling that this person's personality possibly could have come into the fore with something that's happened recently. It's almost as if there's been a change in their life and you almost smelt the skeleton in their closet. It's a mixture of being thrown into the deep end, but it's also a mixture of being thrown into the deep end in something that they've almost wished for. It's like the ending of a situation, something else might have started with you, where you might got this inkling of their personality. I'm trying to give an example here. No, actually, I'm not trying. I'm about to give an example here. Let's just say that your person has been thrown out of their job. And they seem to be quite easygoing, quite sort of just letting things flow. But then you've all got inklings of a need for control that's almost come out of nowhere all of a sudden. It's almost as if something has ended and they feel unbalanced, and you've got a little sniff, a little smell of this need for control, and maybe a little bit of fierceness and directness that you may not have realised before. Because I think they come across as being, what is this again? Yeah, okay. I think they come across as being quite wise and giving and being almost laid back and easygoing. But I think you could possibly have had a little inkling that they can be quite controlling and quite strict when need be. Whether male or female, that doesn't really matter. Lilith is very different whether it's male or female. But there's still that control with the Emperor here and the need to be in charge. Which, do you know what it makes me think of? It's somebody when you go and pick, you don't do this anymore, do you? Just I think when we were young, when you go and pick a DVD and they say, yeah, no, choose whatever you want. And you could be looking at Netflix. You choose whatever you want, and then you choose it, and it's like, well, no, I'm sorry, I can't watch that. But it doesn't happen until later on because they don't like to give control up. You know, you can choose what's for tea, or you can choose the meal when you're out, and then, well, not really is what. But not really. You can't really do it with this person. They have two sides, the one that's laid back, easygoing, and the other side that actually needs to make the decisions and needs to be in control, or else they feel like they've lost something. And it's quite strong in this spread. It's a need for control, it's a need for a practical control as well. But I wonder, this makes me feel of somebody that this has come out in some situation recently, or you may have just grasped it recently. So your person has got two big sides to them, very sort of controlling, and if they're male, this is going to sound quite negative, and this is supposed to be a fun Halloween spread, and it's not going that way, but I'm only reading the cards. If you're into astrology or tarot, I will tell you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Lilith and the Emperor and the first house for the bit that your person is hiding. So your person is hiding a real need to be right, a real need to be strong, a real need to be controlled. And if they're male, there's almost a need to, they push their shadow side onto the female. So when you're doing something, like if they're being really laid back, which is the way that they appear, and you try and control them, then they will come down like a ton of bricks. This is not turning out how I wanted it. I wanted it to be fun. But this, I'm only reading what I'm seeing. And I wonder whether there's something that's happened very recently where you've actually got a little inkling of this, where you've said, well, no, actually, let's do this. And they've gone, boom, no, you're not. You know, it's just been like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Because I think in everyday life, they come across, they're the type of person that pulls your chair out. They're the type of person that makes you a cup of tea when you're crying. They're the type of person that said, let's go travelling, let's go have fun. And they are all of this. They're not putting any of this on. We've all got different sides. They are probably very studious. It strikes me of an eternal student. Somebody who is fun, somebody who likes to study, somebody who likes to discuss spiritual things. Just somebody who is really the type of pal that you want to take travelling with you. They're probably highly sexual as well. With Jupiter here and the Temperance card. They're probably very sexual, but I think with the Emperor card, I mean, this could go into the realm of sex. They could be just quite controlling or like what they like. I know what I like and I like it. That's that type of person. And that's what they try and hide. The fact that they're probably quite structured when they want to come across as quite bohemian. They're probably quite practical, but I think they like to come across as quite easygoing. When they actually need to have that control. And I wonder whether that's been slightly... You've got Lilith here, you've got Death card, and you've got a mixture between the Fool and the Sun here. So I wonder whether some situation has happened recently, and you've got Judgment. So I wonder whether something has happened recently that's almost flipped them a little bit, and you've seen a little bit of that really sort of desperation to control things, or they just feel as if they've lost it. Interesting. Do you know what I almost think from this part? I almost think that your person wants to be caught out for something. It makes me feel that somebody who is keeping things under control, either a relationship or a job, and they're almost ready to turn it over and show or just be themselves, which is probably far more easygoing, and they're almost using this to Emperor and this Lilith energy underneath the surface to try and keep control, because they need to, they're both sides, but I wonder whether they would rather just come across as being the fun-loving, wise, eternal student. Real mixture with this person. You probably see both sides of it. I think if you know this person really well, the skeleton in their closet is the fact that they have two very different parts of their personality. One's very controlling and very much in fear of being controlled themselves, and the other one is really easygoing and fun and loving and giving. So I think they struggle with both those sides, and this is the bit that they try and, the controlling bit is the bit that they try and control. So I think they're aware of it, but it's always going to be there. It's just part of them, which is, we're all the same, we're all a mixture. And that's what makes us so beautiful. Right, so pile number 3. I was hoping that was going to be a really fun Halloween read, and it's not been, so I'm really sorry about that. I think your person, to sum it up, is somebody who is quite forceful and controlling, but comes across quite smooth and funny. And you probably have little inklings into this, not in a serious way, but in a way that they need to decide what's happening next. They need to choose the film. They need to choose where you're going to go on holiday. They like to feel in control and plan things out. So if you don't know this person well and you want to get to know them better, just realise the fact that they probably won't like to be thrown out of their comfort zone, even if they appear really smiley, really easygoing, really fun. Don't chuck this person out of their comfort zone, because I think you'll probably see a side of them that you may not want to see. I enjoyed that because that was more Halloween. Right, pile number 3. I hope that helps. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a good Halloween. Hope to see you again. Bye.